morning, good morning, good morning. It's Dr. K with Freedom by Design, and today is Wisdom Wednesday. And I am excited. I am ready. We have a special guest today. So, as you're jumping on, do me a favor, like and share, like and share. Yes, it is our time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. Yes, 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 and yes. Let's see who we have on. Hey, Gifty. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Tiffany and Susan. Hey, Sherry. Guys, do me a favor, like and share because our special guest this morning, she has a whole word and testimony for us. We're about to have some rich conversation. I love this sister. So before I tell y'all who she is, you've seen her picture, but I want you to go ahead and let's just set the atmosphere. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Simona. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, good morning. So I'm super excited about today. For those of you who started your morning off with us on the God Zone, we had our brother Brendan who really taught to us this morning. We learned about faith. Faith without works is dead. Family, we got to get ourselves situated together. Come on now, it's time for us to act, to move, to do. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Because I want to have this entire 30 minutes with my sister, we are going to go ahead and get going. Good morning, Eva. Good morning, Princess. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Angela. So, family, I don't know about you, but through my life, what I have seen God do is He has carefully put people in my path, in my life. Some people come in for a season, some for a reason, some for a lifetime. Now, I will tell you, sometimes I feel like I know how he's going to move, but I don't always know because this beautiful soul and spirit, I met her when I first took my baby, and he is a grown man, when I first took my baby to college in Norfolk, Virginia. I was nervous. I was scared. God knew He had to put some people in place and in line for me to just relax. And when I met her, I was at peace. I was okay with leaving my baby. We have remained friends, and you all know Keenan graduated. It's 2 years now, but she and I have remained friends even after Keenan left the school. So I want to go ahead and welcome this morning my sister from another mister, none other than Tina Ruffin. Tina, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Tina, thank you so much for being here. And girl, I promise you what I just said was the truth because I cried all the way going to drop him off and I cried all the way going home. So I'm so grateful for God putting you in my life, for that period in time and for us just being able to remain friends and being able to be sisters in Christ. But for my people out here who, they're like, okay, she's beautiful, but who is she? Tell us a little bit about her. So just give the Freedom by Design movement just a little bit of background on who Tina Ruffin is.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for just giving me this opportunity to be on your amazing platform. I absolutely love it. And I'm just thankful that you are in my life because I've seen so much growth. And so, a little bit about me. My name is Tina Ruffin. I am originally from Smithfield, Virginia, which is the ham capital of the world. Get excited. But yes, I met Dr. K at Norfolk State when she dropped off her baby, Keenan, who became, I used to always say before I had kids that I was like the second mama. But then when I had my daughter and I was like, I'm still too young to be a mama. So I would say, I'm the cool auntie. So we gonna get in trouble together. But when your mama call me, it's all you. It's not me. And so like you said, it's just certain student athletes that have come into my life that I have stayed connected to. And I just love working with student athletes. So when I met Dr. K, I was the assistant athletic director for academics at Norfolk State. And I absolutely love that role. It allowed me to really impact young men and women's lives. And so just the calling on that is so much more than just academics, making sure they're passing their classes. So yeah, I absolutely love that. And I, like you said, I am so thankful that we have stayed connected throughout the years, because I was so sad, y'all, when Keaton told me and Dr. K called me and was like, we gotta go. And I was like, not my baby. But yeah, I absolutely love Keenan. And I just thank you that you allowed me to be an extension of you for those 2 years that I got to have him at Norfolk State.
Absolutely. So, Tina, I know that we met in the academic athletic realm,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much more to Tina.
Yes, yes. So I am a single mother of an absolutely beautiful 7.5-year-old L. Christian Vickers. Um, that is my biggest why. She is my biggest why. So um, I decided, 2, 3 years ago, that God called me to go to divinity school. So out of nowhere, I just popped up and went to divinity school and graduated December 2019 with a degree in Christianity and spiritual formation, which was absolutely amazing. I knew I needed to go for me, for what God had called me to do. And so the vehicle that God uses me in is in Mary Kay. So I'm a sales director in Mary Kay. I lead a phenomenal group of women. We are the victorious trailblazers because we have victory over every situation that we are in, and we are blazing a trail. We're doing things like that nobody has ever seen. We're not going to stay in the four walls of the church. God told us to go out and find and get and be fishermen of men. And so that's what we're doing through our Mary Kay business. And so I absolutely love it. I still work at Norfolk State. I actually left academics for a while, but I'm back in academics. So I'm back in working directly with student athletes, which I absolutely love. But I have a better sense of time management. So before, when I was in academics, that's what I did 24/7, and I neglected myself. My daughter was at the time 2, and she was always at Norfolk State, and God had to really shift me to put perspective and my priorities back, and not to give myself to a job, a just above broke job.
Come on
Really
now.
invest in myself. So I was able to leave academics, go to divinity school, get recalibrated, I guess you can say, get my stuff back in order, so that I could be a whole person and be able to do his work, because you can't do it half empty.
Come on now, you better say it. Just hearing you say that, because there are so many. I see you have some Mary Kay sisters out there. They're like VA in the house. So hearing and I know you were always available 24 hours a day when Keenan was at Norfolk State. And there are so many of us who get caught up in that job that we forget everything else. And it seems like that's our sole purpose for being. But as you were talking, I was like, oh, I remember when God put that stop block up and was like, okay, freeze, because this isn't it. You're going to have to build your relationship with me. Yeah, I have you over here. It's for a purpose. You're going to touch and reach lives, but we have to make sure that we're in alignment. When that shift happened, was it tell us about it? Was it painful? Was it like, oh my goodness? How did
Yeah.
you manage and handle that? Because as you said, single mother.
I was upset, to be perfectly honest, when they told me, or they asked me to take another position in our athletic department. I was upset because at that time, all I had known was academics. And so falsely, I had put my whole identity, like, who is Tina? Like, people would tell me, like, Tina, who are you? I was like, oh, I'm the assistant athletic director. And that was my identity. So God had to peel that away. And when I went to divinity school, it was the wilderness for a year and a half. And I was upset, like, one, God, why do you have me going back to school? And then I always was prophesied before when I was in college that I would go to seminary school, not knowing when the timing was. But that time I was in the wilderness. So best friends that I had were gone. People who were in my corner were gone. So it was just me, God, and Elle. And that was all that was it. And so I had to relearn myself, and I'm still relearning myself. There's still parts of me that I had closed off. And so I do want to say, especially in the church world for so long, it's been like taboo for therapy. But therapy has truly saved my life. Like truly, I go to therapy twice a month, every other week. But yeah, when I was in seminaries or divinity school, that's, like I said, I was definitely in the wilderness, and God was just revealing things to me. And there was still a lot of Tina that she had to heal from childhood that I didn't even know was affecting me in adulthood. And so it's been I think Tasha Cobbs has a song, Gracefully Broken. It has been, I have been broken, and God is putting me back together. And so it's definitely a process. And for me, I have always run away from the process, knowing what the process entails, right? And so going through the process, it's giving me strength to know that, hey, God created me. He made no mistakes in me. And so I know that he's the author and the finisher of our faith. And so, and we already have the victory. And so I just have to trust God in the process. And so that is what I'm working on now, is really trusting God in the process, not knowing what's coming next, but knowing that he holds it all.
Yeah, I see Ruth though is saying being in the wilderness can be scary, but necessary for the next level. And it's so interesting that you say, you know, who God is and what he's done. This morning, my scripture of meditation is the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. And that's Job 33:4. So hearing you say that, you know, and this morning I had to take my time and process every single word, like, he breathed life into me, you know, and I'm listening to you and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's knocking on my door, Lord. Because as you talked about therapy, you know, in my mind, I'm like, okay, counseling, marriage, premarital counseling, let's go, let's do that. But as a grown person, I also had to go to therapy. And, you know, Tina, when I went, I looked for somebody who didn't look anything like me. I looked for somebody who was not going to be connected with anybody I knew, because I was at a point where I was broken. You know, it was after the loss of my father, and so many other relationships and things had fallen, and it made a big difference. So kudos, and I agree with you on that. And just the layers that you peel back through that wilderness process and going through and identifying, because, you know, in the book I talk about the abandonment issues, and one of my chapters was a grown woman with little girl issues, because we think we have arrived, you know, after we've done certain things, after we've accomplished certain things. But, you know, God has to, you know, reel us back in, as if he's fishing, reel us back in so we can have that reality check and then say, okay, I thought I was here. No, all the stuff from back there, you brought it all. You were carrying that load, and, you know, you were carrying that baggage and all of that stuff. And guess what? It's still with you as an adult. So definitely, I hear you when you say twice a month. That thing makes a big difference, because we have to bring balance to our lives. We have to get in full and total alignment vertically in order for us to be able to do it horizontally. Does that make sense?
That's so, it's like you say, God knocking on the door. Because I kept asking God, like, God, what do you want me to say to the people? Like, really, what do you want me to say? And last night he said, like, we so often have the vertical right, but we don't have the horizontal. And God called us to the horizontal. Like, we're supposed to be connecting with people. We're supposed to be going out and bringing people. And so that, like, just for you saying that, I'm like, okay, God, I'm hearing you. Because sometimes I question, like, do I really hear God? Am I really doing it? But then I want to talk about when you said grown women with little girl issues. So like you said, I searched for a therapist. And this is actually my second therapist. Okay. And so my homework from last week, she asked me, like, who do you have on your screensaver? And I was like, Ellen I. And she was like, no, you know what Ellen you look like. She said, no, you need to go find an old picture of you as a little girl and put that on your screensaver, because you got to go save her. Ooh. Yeah, my therapist be on my toes, girl.
Oh, girl, that hey, you make me
all on
want to
my
jump up
toes.
and run around this room.
But yeah,
Woo!
they put it on your home screen, put it on your lock screen. She said, you don't need to see what you and Elle look like. You need to go and minister to the little girl and save her.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now I know that thing right there just hit home for a whole lot of people. So, ladies, gentlemen, in case you didn't hear it, I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back, because I know some of y'all might be at work, you might be driving, and you might be like, "Oh, that's cute." What they saying? What she said was her therapist asked her, "Who is on your screensaver?" So let's just marinate in that right now. Let's reflect, who is on your screensaver, because we're dealing with all this stuff and we're wondering why things not working out and why I'm dealing with all these issues today. It's because you brought them from way back when you were a child, and her therapist said, you know what, you can remove that screensaver. The person who you need to put on there is a picture of you when you were a child, because that's who you need to minister to. How many of us need to go back and minister to the younger versions of ourselves, that hurt, that broken, that angry, that abused, that misused, mistreated person, because we still carry that hurt, that anger, that frustration. We're carrying it into our new relationships, into our new friendships, into the new job, into the new business, into the new situation, over and over. And we're wondering why we keep having the same result. Tina, girl, you just I just reflected. I'm like, I got my husband and I on the lock screen, and my home screen got baby Eva. I'm like, wait a minute.
But even with you saying that, like, we bring those issues into our adult lives, and we get with people, or we get the jobs, and we think those jobs are going to satisfy us. And then when they don't, we get mad at them, not knowing, no, boo, it's you. Like, you still have stuff, because that person was never meant to satisfy you.
Girl,
that person was meant to be a helpmeet, a helpmate, to add to your life, for y'all to multiply. But that person or that job or whatever you thought you were going to replace so you could keep your issues like pressed down or under the rug, that those things were never meant to heal you. And so that's what I'm learning.
Yes. Ooh, girl, healing is hard.
Girl.
So hard. And I'm just sitting here thinking about the wilderness, and to a certain extent, I'm still, he's still working on me. And when you're out there, it's lonely at times, because like you said, best friends and people who you thought were going to be, everybody isn't along the journey, because he didn't instill it. When he whispered that in your spirit, everybody didn't get it. Everybody doesn't get your wake up call. It was designed just for you. So when it comes that time, we go to people, things, and stuff to fill a void that no man, no thing can ever fill. And even when we get it, I think about, as I'm sitting here in my home office, I'm looking at awards and plaques and stuff and things. And, in the moment, it was exciting. It was great. But then you come home and it's another thing on the shelf. And it still it doesn't complete us. It doesn't make us feel any better, but we're running for that thing. I want that raise. If I do this, I'll get some more money. If I do this, I'm gonna rank to the next level. If I do this, I'm gonna do that. And God is saying, as you're doing all of that, why are you doing it? Is helping to advance the kingdom? Is it benefiting your family as you're moving and you're doing? Is it a benefit, or is this a I thing? So as a girl, that void is something else when you're out there. I'm looking at some of the comments. I see some baggage was, some baggage was meant to be dropped.
Right. And I watched Michael Todd, and he just did a sermon on drop. Like, we're not meant to carry the baggage. And for me, it's almost like, for so long, that was like my security, right? So some of us hold it because that's our security. We don't want to deal with it. So for me, for a long time, even in like relationships, I just held it, because, okay, God, if I let it go, what's next? And so I think a lot of people even hold on to baggage because it's a security. It's what they're comfortable with. It's what they know. And even when you were talking about all the awards and the titles, what are we when all of that is stripped away? And that's what I had to go through and learn. Like, okay, I'm no longer academics. And I had a best friend that had to keep telling me, like, Tina, you're more than academics.
Amen. Amen.
And so, but we have to get that revelation for ourselves. And it goes back to that process. The process is ugly in anything, in losing weight, right? Woo! That process is like, we know what we have to do, but that process, even when getting closer to God, like, we know we have to spend time with him. If he wakes us up in the morning, are we going to answer the call, or are we going to turn back over and go to sleep? Like, that process, I think, for me, and I think for a lot of people, is what we want to stay comfortable. And growth is not in our comfortability. And so if we want to grow, we're going to have to get uncomfortable and stretch. And so, yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
Girl, that thing is deep. You know, I see Tisha posted, you know, make her childhood and reflecting on her childhood makes her have fear for her own children, the things that she's gone through that she still hasn't released. She still hasn't forgiven those persons who hurt her. It makes her hold on closer to her children because she doesn't want them or want those situations to come. And you know what we have to identify and understand is God has predestined our walk, each and every one of us. There is something, it's unique. Everything that we're going to go through, it's for you. So he woke up, he created Tisha, and he breathed life into you. And every situation, and as cliche-ish as it may sound, we have to count every situation joy, because there is a reason we went through what we went through. When we get in a situation where we can truly have relationship, not go to church, not just religion, not when we can truly meditate on his word, truly have relationship with him, hear his voice clearly, and make sure, because I talked about this the other day, somebody's speaking to you. It's either going to be God or it's going to be the enemy. And on the other end, it's us. So we got to, a lot of times, differentiate his voice from our will, from our voice, what we want to hear. And we know anything that's in stark contrast to what he's asking us to do, to be obedient, to be faithful, to walk, to move, to trust him, then we fighting with ourselves or the enemy on that. We got to release our flesh and let that thing go. Because he is not asking us to fix other people. You know, he's given us our children as gifts. We nurture, we take care of them. And then guess what? We got to give them back to him, because they are not ours. They belong to him. But we have to have faith and understand that God is God by himself. He don't need us to fix it or do anything. He has this. He's waiting on us to make the first step, to do what we need to do, because he's given us free reign and will to, you know, to choose and make that decision. So Tina, when you talk about, you know, that process, and it is, forgiveness is a process, you know, everything that we go through in life is a process. But sometimes, you know, I tell people there are certain things, while it's a process, when it comes to God, it looks so different in my life right now, because what we want to do, we can do it at the drop of a dime.
Right.
What's hard, what we don't want to do,
Waiting.
sometimes we'll say, well, you know, trust the process. Example, if I want to start this business and I want to go all in, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to research. I'm going to do everything that I want to do, everything that I need to do to make myself be able to be the best that I could be in it. Now, if I need to lose weight, I'm going to make every excuse. I can't get to the gym. My money looking funny. I can only afford certain things. When you try to eat healthy and clean, it costs so much more. I got so much going on and I'm stressed out. So that makes me, you know, snack a little bit. We make excuses when we want to, when it's time to forgive somebody, but they hurt me and they gonna do it again. If they do, you forgive them again.
Right, right.
If they do, you forgive them again. I'm not saying be abused and all of that kind of stuff, but God said, you know, when he was asked, how many times am I to forgive them?
70 times 7.
I'm just saying, I know that math. So you got to make sure you keep going. So Tina, as we approach the top of the hour, Is there anything that you wish to share? Because we are getting some awesome feedback. I see Rutho said, who are we listening to? That, yeah, it's important. Is there anything else that God laid on your heart to share on this morning?
Well, I want to go back to your friend that talked about the kids and what she had went through. And so the two scriptures that I stand on faithfully are Romans 8:28 and then Romans 8:18. So all things work together for our good for the glory of God. And then that the glory to come can't compare to what we've been through. Amen. And so when she talked about her kids, I felt that because, like, again, I tell you, I'm very open and transparent about therapy. And my therapist told me, like, how would you act if Elle went through what you went through? And I said, I'm gonna be a mama bear. Like, ain't happening, not never ever in this world. And she said, well, that's how you need to go and heal that little girl. Why you don't feel like that about yourself? And so that, like, like you, I was just like, because I would tell her and I'd be like, I mean, it's not that bad. And she was like, so if that happened to Elle, and I was like, oh no, that ain't gonna happen to her. But and then what you were saying, our kids are not our own, so we have trusting. I feel like trusting is like a whole, like we have no strength. I feel like in trusting, if I can explain it, like we have to completely surrender.
Amen.
In trusting, and so God kept telling me today, like, in my weakness, His strength is made whole. Woo. So, Lord, I want to be weak. Because if I'm strong, that means I'm in control. And God, I don't want to be in control because where I'm at now, I want better, I want greater, I want abundance. And so I have to get out of my own way. And so, God, make me weak. Decrease me so you can increase in me. I don't want to touch nothing, Lord, that you have for me. I want it all to be from you. And so that's a process. That trusting is a process. The waiting. Oh my goodness. I know we only got 3 minutes, y'all, but I had built a house.
Go ahead.
Built a house with my daughter's father. Left the house and was in a waiting process for 5 years. Wow. And just was able to buy my house on my own. But that waiting process was like, God, I'm doing everything you call me to do. I'm tithing. I'm serving. I'm going back to school. But we do all the other things. But what is that one thing we're not doing?
Oh, come on now.
Right? Like, what is that one thing we're not surrendering to God? So yeah, we're doing our tithe, but are we praying like we need to pray? Are we giving Him our time and just saying, okay, God, because I gave you my money, I'm cool? And so that's where I was like, because for me, money was such a big deal. So I was like, okay, God, if I can trust you with my money, then everything else should be good. So since Elle has been born, she, like I said, she will be 8 in May. I can count on one hand maybe how many times I've missed my tithes. But now my strength and my trust in money, I'm never going to argue with nobody about money because I know God is my provider. He has kept me for those 5 years.
Come on now.
But where is it that God's trying to grow me that I'm trying to be comfortable in? For me, it's waking up early. Lord, I be tired. So I be trying, you be having the God zone. I said, okay, God, I'm going to go in the God zone. I think I went up there one time. But that's just honest and transparent. Like we get so good in 3 areas, but maybe God is in a season wanting us to focus on this other area. And we kind of neglect it because God, I'm giving you my tithe. I'm waking up and going to virtual church every Sunday. Like, what else? But God wants it all. He just don't want you to compartmentalize Him and think you're doing something.
Girl, listen, I know where we are in the hour, but I'm just gonna have to go ahead. You know what I learned, and this is why I love the God Zone so much. So I see Rutho is the co-founder. Can't Rutho, will you drop the God Zone information in the text, because I don't want people to be like, what's God Zone? You need to experience God Zone. It's truly getting in the God Zone, and we do it Monday through Friday from 6 to 7. It's an hour of power, praise, testimony, worship. You get to share your nuggets. But, we talk about that exhaustion piece. And I had to write it down because the enemy, when we are supposed to be doing something, he will tell us we tired. He'll tell us we sleepy, we this, we that, we all of those things. And when it's time for us to walk and move the way God has designed for us to do it, we're like, oh my God, I can't wake up. I can't. And I will tell you, early on, I used to be like, God, I already got to get up for Freedom by Design. God, I'm gonna wake up. But then my body, not just for God's own, because God said, okay, since you think you're tired, I'm gonna disrupt that sleep. And he would disrupt my sleep through the night. And I was like, what's going on? And I realized through meditation that, you know what? He wants something from me. He needs my time. So no matter how I try to cut him a little slice of the pizza, he wants the whole thing. And if I don't give it all to him the way I say it with my mouth, if I don't fully surrender myself to him, he's going to take what he is, because he is a jealous God. He's not going to sit back and watch us just move how we want to and give him the piece of the pie that we want him to have. We got to make sure we take those blinders off. You're not tired. You weren't tired when you were going out, when you were spending money, when you were shopping, when you were doing this. You weren't too tired to receive the blessing. Now you're going to have to put in the work. Now you're going to need to come and spend some time with me. So you're going to have to wake up, and I promise you, I have an alarm set, but I don't need the alarm set because I'm already up, because I'm already like, okay, Lord, what we doing today? You know, how we working this thing out? What you need me to say, what you need me to do. And I'm having that level of conversation. Sometimes I'm in my closet. Sometimes I'm in the spirit speaking. It depends, because it's what he would have me to do. You know, I don't try to sugarcoat it. I don't try to cut it out. And I don't try to be anybody who I'm not and talk about, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z, because I've learned when I say what I can't do, when it comes to him, he'll show me the can't. And you know what? I don't want any of that. I do not want any of that. So I wake my butt up. I get going. When he says speak, talk, I'm obedient to it. And anytime I'm not, each day I'm like, Lord, search my heart. Show me what I did wrong. If I did something wrong, please forgive me. Show me how I can correct it and move in the right way. Because I only want to please you. I know who has filled that void. That void was deep.
Right.
I know. Whew, girl. Okay. So it's the top of the hour for real. And we are going to definitely wrap up. Tina, I'm so grateful, my sister, that you were there with me, with my son, when he went to Virginia and Norfolk State. I'm grateful and I'm thankful. I pray again, nothing but blessings on you and your Mary Kay team, your business. Congratulations on the house for you. And I still say, baby L, I love you guys. And I look forward to, doing some things with you in the future. You know, we're always doing events and empowerment. So definitely we'll have you back on Freedom by Design. But my sister, I love you and God bless you. And again, thank you for spending time with us this morning.
I love you too. And again, thank you so much for having me on this platform. And I'm just so excited to be able to witness everything that God is blessing you with, because I know He in the blessing business. So
amen. All right, family, have a great day. We love you guys. Bye-bye.